Hello everyone and welcome to the Deep Thinking Podcast, a podcast where we discuss and speculate about the deepest thoughts regarding our universe. So in this first video / podcast thingy-majig, I'm basically going to be talking about alien life in the universe, and it is going to be just myself for this episode, but hopefully I'll be able to get some people on within the next couple of episodes or so. Even if not, we have a lot to discuss, so if you enjoy speculating on deep ideas, then please make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I would much appreciate that. So, alien life in the universe, how common is it? That's one of the things that we need to establish first, and of course, other things that we need to establish are how long it would take for a civilization to actually arrive here at planet Earth, and that opens up another question of how far can technological advancement progress in the universe. So we'll begin discussing those areas, and then we'll go into another video, most likely another podcast, where we discuss those other aspects of alien life. Don't worry, we're going to be discussing things about history and other speculative ideas about the nature of reality, and also talking about things that are more grounded in our day-to-day lives. But of course, we need to speculate in order to help ourselves critically navigate other scenarios throughout our lives. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. So, alien life. How rare is advanced civilizations? Because when most people are talking about aliens, they're talking about UFOs, they're talking about little green men sort of thing, not galaxy, but star system traveling, spacefaring species that can traverse the vast distances of space in order to arrive at planet Earth, and for whatever reason it is. And you have to also predict what that reason could be. There is a lot of reasons, and we'll get into those a little bit later. But so yes, we'll say we can most likely determine that microbial life is the most common form of life in the universe, because we have some candidates even here in the solar system where there may be life that is native to one of the planets or moons within the solar system. This could either be Mars or Titan or Europa or Enceladus, many other places just like these that have potential subsurface oceans and different things where life may have been able to exist and not thrive and expand and evolve into becoming complex and then intelligent life. But then you have to think to yourself about how, of course, often we're going to go by our galaxy, because obviously we can't really look into the other galaxies or anything, because, you know, we're just seeing it as the massive congregation of stars that it is as the galaxy from the distance away. But of course we experience the Milky Way galaxy because we're in it as a galaxy where we can see all the individual stars. So we can also detect that there is many habitable worlds that are very Earth-like in the galaxy. So reaching them is the difficult part. But we have to ask ourselves, even if we never reach them, is there life that is native to that planet there? And you would expect that there probably is, because a planet like Earth, why would it not have life on it? Why would it not have some kind of life on it, even if that's just something that would not be able to make an observable impact in the universe? Of course, any other species on the planet, if we don't exist on this planet, we're not making an observable impact in the universe. And even at this point in time, we've barely made an observable impact in the universe, because we've only been producing things that can probably even be seen by something that's an advanced civilization for maybe the last 100 years, let's say, for example. Like, it's something along that lines. I know they do send out signals and stuff, which is not the most intelligent thing to do in the world. I personally believe that in regarding sending out signals into the cosmos to try and contact some kind of civilization, it's very unlikely to succeed, and even if it does eventually get to an alien species, how do you know that you're not coming across an alien species that is actually aggressive and expansive, and will see you and go, oh, this is an advancing species that's probably super advanced and could potentially even destroy us at some point in time. So you know what, we're going to go ahead of the curve, and we're going to destroy this civilization first. So it makes not very much sense to want to expose ourselves to other civilizations, because obviously if we are the less advanced one, then our level of control over our lives diminishes, because obviously we're subjected to the whims of this advanced civilization. So it's probably something that we don't want to happen. But of course, we're still discussing habitable planets within the galaxy. We know that there is even a potentially habitable planet in the star system over from us, Alpha Centauri, which is 4.24 light years away, approximately 24 trillion miles, right? Something along that line. It will take a vast amount of time to reach Alpha Centauri, but there is a planet, Proxima b, that orbits one of the stars there. And this planet is an Earth-like world that is tidally locked, but it's believed that around the midsection of the planet there is potentially a place that may be habitable for life to arise. It would be very interesting to see what kind of a life is able to arise, I would assume, because it's not, it's a tidally locked planet. It does not rotate, so it would kind of make sense for it not to span into this complex civilization, but perhaps it did. It's unlikely that it became a super advanced one because we would probably know about it at 4.24 light years away. We would likely know if there is a civilization there, but there could be some form of life there, which is interesting. I do believe that we may be one of the only societies as we are like this that is actively pursuing going out into space and learning things about the nature of the universe. I believe that we're probably the only ones in the galaxy. That's a massive bold statement to say because the galaxy is filled with billions of stars. So it's a very, very bold statement to make, but I do believe there is obviously other life forms in the galaxy. Perhaps there may even be kind of advanced and getting towards that level of advancement, but perhaps we may evolve and advance first, or perhaps there may be a blossoming of life. Perhaps we are in the early stages of life, and as the years go by, the human species will begin to notice a booming of life in the universe, and this is something that will continue on throughout the existence of the universe. Because think about it, if the universe exists and doesn't just randomly come to an end through, let's say, a vacuum decay or something like that very soon, which it more than likely won't, then we are extremely early in the universe, because the universe, even if it isn't infinite and doesn't exist forever and is eternal, you know, it's predicted that it could exist for septillions of more years. What? 13.8 billion is nothing, absolute nada compared to septillions. Like, wow, that's even more incomprehensible than a billion, so or even a trillion, even past that point, you're just like, wow, I cannot even try to comprehend what this could be. But this is why it's so interesting to discuss this subject, because it's like, what forms of life exist out there? Why would life come to this planet? Of course, there is many people that believe in the UFO incidents that have happened. I believe that some of them do have some very, very, solid evidence for them, but nothing concrete, very weird and bizarre things. Perhaps it could be a natural phenomena. Perhaps it could be some form of new technology that some kind of government is hiding from the rest of the world. Or perhaps it is an alien spacecraft. You don't know at all, but you've got to wonder why aliens would travel to this planet. I would guess either life is rare. To be honest, it would only probably be that life is rare, or we are the closest by source of life, and they probably want to study what we're doing, because we would definitely study an advanced species that's more so primitive than us. If we knew it existed and we were a super advanced species, we would 100% go to a place and study it if it was achievable for us and we could traverse vast distances of space in relatively quick amounts of time. We would definitely consider doing that, because it makes a hell of a lot of sense, because we actually study things that are far less interesting than a pretty intelligent advanced species. But everything's interesting in its own right, which is what's so fascinating about this universe we live, because all of this stuff, supposedly come from one initial event that caused the start of this universe. Personally, regarding that, it could be one of many big bangs. It could be, the end of a previous universe was the beginning of is the Big Bang, and the beginning of this universe. It's always so bloody interesting to talk about. It really is. It's something that I find very interesting. But for me, the most, when I'm discussing alien life in the universe, I'm the most terrified when discussing the dark forest hypothesis, because it's something that is definitely very possible. Because if you're looking at the only solid evidence that we actually have for any kind of life in the universe that's intelligent, that's ourselves, that's got the ability to in the future, if we are not screwing ourselves over, we'll probably become a spacefaring species. Would we not probably wipe out more primitive civilizations to take their resources and stuff? Have we not been doing that kind of thing for like the entirety of the existence of our species here on Earth, to our own earth-bound, earth-born humans and animals and stuff on this planet? Why would our reference point for an alien species that has no reference point of life here on this planet, why would we care more about them than we do about life on this planet? Like, that's my point. Why, like, maybe other species are thinking this way. Maybe they're just like, you know what, we don't want to risk potentially getting destroyed, so we're just going to deal with you nice and early, which is something that is terrifying, especially when we're talking about the signals like we did earlier. It's something that we do not want at all. Like, cause we do not want to be showing where we are in the universe. We want tactical advantages, because there probably is more advanced species in the universe than we are. Let's stop giving away our advantages at this period of time. Like, let's actually try and learn more about the nature of reality before we throw ourselves into the deep end. We should, as the saying goes, you dip your little toe into the pool first. You do not do a swanton bomb Jeff Hardy style into the pool. And this is what I'm saying. Do not be sending those signals out into space trying to contact aliens, because if it's the Dark Forest hypothesis, we're just going to get Death Star lasered, bloody Grand Moff Tarkin style. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, no, we do not want this to happen. It's something, no, leave us alone. We just want to exist. So realistically, discussing this stuff, having it being in the forefront, finally just sitting down and saying, yo, the discussion of alien life is real. Like, it's not this shamed thing anymore, because yes, there is wild theories about UFOs and some things that are just ridiculous, like the recent spy balloon situation, people thinking that, not because it says it's a UFO, thinking, oh, we can't rule out aliens. Not being able to rule out aliens doesn't mean that it's aliens. Like, the likelihood of those trash bag balloons, as I said in a previous video, being aliens is next to zero. It is zero. It's below zero. Like, you've got to understand the vast distances of space. 24 trillion miles to the closest star. No, that garbage balloon is not doing that. And no, don't be trying to tell me that's some technology that they're using when it took them no time to probably arrive here. And you've got to also ask the question of why we don't see the species. Obviously, that's what the Fermi paradox is. It asks why we don't see any alien species. You've got to also ask, would they bother going out and traversing the vast distances of space? Why not just stay close by and use the star systems close to your star system that's optimized for your life? Because planet Earth is optimized for us. Like, go to other places. We'll have to make that environment habitable for humans, even if it's a very much so Earth-like planet. We can't just go on there and take off our helmets and just start chilling out. Like, that's not how it'll work. Like, we'll still have to optimize the environment for ourselves. So it makes the most sense to try and do that stuff over long periods of time. But, for the starting periods of like expanding out into the universe, it makes the most sense to actually be focusing on getting resources from close by star systems. Obviously making sure that there's no life native to the planets that we're going to. You want to kind of, I would say, terraform worlds that actually don't have life on them but can be placed in an optimal place, I guess. Hell, in the future we might even be able to move planets and moons. Like, if we can do that, we can just make the most optimal place in the entirety of that star system, put it in the best place possible for habitability of the habitable zone of this star, because we can calculate these things. When distances and things are involved, we can calculate this stuff and understand what the most optimal thing for humans would be. And then, you add all these elements and things into the environment to make it optimal for humans, human life, and obviously Earth type life as well, because, obviously we need all of these things that are on Earth as well to survive. So this is stuff that we're doing. It's basically taking out our resources and kind of expanding them across and making environments that are very similar to Earth all over the galaxy, so that we can exist in that kind of way. Like, obviously very early on, if you're talking close by futurism of obviously discussing space exploration and colonizing the galaxy, it's most definitely going to be something like having some kind of colony on Mars. And obviously that is not the most optimal thing in the world, but becoming multiplanetary is very important, and it's something that should be happening as quick as we can do it, but not too quick to the point of where we're destroying the environment. We're trying to just like do all of these things and just like destabilizing the planet to try and support a Mars colony when we don't need to at this moment in time, because that's kind of, you know, we obviously don't want to be caught unawares by natural disasters and potential future nuclear annihilation, but we also don't want to jump, like we were saying earlier, you don't want to jump into the deep end when it comes to traveling and colonizing Mars as well, because of course it's going to change the structure of humans. You know, Martian born humans, we got to know what it's going to be like for how does how does a fetus work in space, you know, how does it work on another planet with this person being born. From what I've heard, a Martian born human, if it's possible for it to not be under too much stress of the environment and whatever, and it is fully possible for it to be born there and all this stuff, whatever, I don't know the technical sciences of whether they are able to have humans be born on Mars or whatever it is, or whether the environment is just not good for it at all, or whether long-term things we can potentially live there. But I've heard before that I've read before that they literally Martian-born humans would not be able to come to Earth. Obviously, Earth-bound humans would be able to go to Mars and visit Mars, but Martian-born humans would not be able to come to Earth, which is kind of crazy because obviously the gravity would be crushing them. Obviously, the gravity for us would be light, but for them the gravity would be heavy here on Earth. So, and they're not used to heavy gravity really at all. Do you know what I mean? And think about it this way: somebody who weighs about 100 kilograms here on Earth weighs about 40 kilograms on Mars. So you can understand how much they'd feel crushed. Like imagine, like to them, they're just like a person who weighs like, I don't know, 70 kilograms on Mars. And then they get here, they'd just be like, oh, do you know what I mean? They'd feel so just like done out, I'm guessing. But you know, we have fun discussions here on this channel, and I really appreciate you all for coming along and having this discussion with me. I know it's not been the most structured and coherent discussion on alien life and just traversing space and stuff, but as we go along we'll be doing much more of these, and I feel like having these discussions is extremely important, and I just like talking to you guys and speculating, and I want to hear everything that you think about these ideas and about alien life and about traversing the vast distances of space, colonizing the universe, keeping the human species alive for as long as possible, because this is one of the reasons that we live. You know, it's ingrained into our nature to want our species to survive. So of course discussing colonizing the universe, discussing colonizing the galaxy, and then also discussing exploring the vast distances of space and innovating technology that makes interstellar travel possible and you know, efficient, is very important, because it's something that's going to be around for the majority of the human species existence if we exist very far into the universe, which we want ourselves to do. But yes, I appreciate you all so much for sticking by for this video. We're going to have many more of these coming out. I really enjoy sitting down and talking to you. As I said, I appreciate you all so much. Have a wonderful day, enjoy whatever you're doing, and peace out, my friends.